March 25th, 1911, Saturday afternoon in New York City. Near Washington Square, a small fire starts in a garment factory on the upper floors of the Ash Building. Within minutes, workers are trapped with smoke rising around them, and 146 people will die before the fire is finally out. Many of them are young immigrant women who are just trying to finish the week and go home. So how did a simple spark turn into one of the deadliest workplace disasters in American history? Inside the factory, the day feels ordinary, right up until it doesn't. Sewing machines clatter, scissors snip, and cloth scraps drift to the floor like dust. It's close and crowded, with tables pushed tight together and stacks of fabric waiting to be cut. As the shift ends, workers reach for coats and hats, thinking about supper and Sunday. The air is warm, and the room is full of cloth, beautiful to sell, dangerous to burn. Triangle makes shirtwaists, a popular blouse that helped define the modern working woman of that era. Demand is high, and competition is sharp, so every hour and every penny matters. Hundreds of workers fill the top floors, many of them teenagers and young adults new to America. They work long weeks for modest pay, and the pace is constant. In 1911, this kind of pressure is common, and it teaches owners to think first about speed and cost. The danger doesn't begin with a dramatic explosion. It begins with a small flame in a scrap bin under a cutter's table, fed by cloth trimmings and paper patterns. Someone may have tossed in a match or a cigarette butt, and that's all it takes. Fire touches tissue paper, then reaches upward to hanging fabric. In a room built around dry cloth, the blaze doesn't crawl. It runs. Here's why it gets worse so quickly. The factory is full of fuel, and the layout helps the fire travel. Cloth scraps are everywhere, and patterns hang overhead like kindling. Air moves through the space and up the stairwells, pulling smoke and heat to the next level. Within moments, flames are spreading across work rows, and smoke is thick enough to confuse people who have never practiced a real fire drill. Panic isn't the cause of the tragedy, but panic becomes the natural result. On the 10th floor, a warning comes by telephone, and those workers get precious seconds. Some make it up to the roof, and from there they can reach safety. But on the 9th floor, there is no clear alarm and no clean announcement. Many learn about the fire only when smoke arrives, when the windows begin to glow, and when the hallway fills. In a workplace, seconds matter, and here the warning does not reach everyone in time. When people run, they discover a terrible truth. The building offers exits, but not all of them are usable. One stairway door is locked, a choice meant to control workers at the end of the day. It doesn't matter whether the reason was theft prevention or strict supervision. What matters is the result. A locked door turns a busy factory into a trap. In an emergency, the simplest safety rule is also the most important. You must be able to get out. The other stair route quickly becomes a chimney for smoke and heat. People push toward it, then recoil as the air burns their lungs. Some try to move downward, but the way is blocked by fire and by the crowd itself. Others make the hard decision to go up, because up feels like air and light. The building's height, which seemed harmless on a normal day, now separates workers from the street by 8, 9, and 10 stories. For a moment, the elevators offer hope. Operators make trips into the smoke, bringing people down as fast as they can. But heat warps equipment, and the shaft becomes dangerous as desperate workers try to force doors open. Even when an elevator arrives, it can take only so many at a time. In the space of a few minutes, that hope narrows, then breaks, and the cars can no longer run. Next comes the exterior fire escape, bolted to the outside wall. It is narrow and strained, never meant to carry so many people at once. It also does not provide an easy path all the way down, and it has been poorly maintained. As more bodies press onto the metal, the structure twists, then pulls away. About 20 people fall when it collapses, and others are left with nowhere to go but back toward the smoke. Down on the street, firefighters arrive quickly, but the building's upper floors are beyond their reach. Their ladders can only extend to about the 6th floor, 2 floors short of where the fire is raging. Crowds gather, looking up, helpless to do anything. The fire is not just a battle against flames, it is a battle against height and time. When rescue cannot reach you, the building itself becomes part of the disaster. In less than an hour, it is over. The count will settle at 146 dead, 123 women and girls, and 23 men. Most of them young, many of them immigrants. Families search for loved ones, and the city absorbs a shock it cannot explain away as bad luck. This is not a storm or an earthquake. This is a workplace on a Saturday afternoon, and the ordinary fact of going to work has ended in mass death. Now the question becomes, why did a factory like this exist in the first place? Because America was in the middle of a shopping revolution, and cheap, ready-to-wear clothing sold fast. Retailers demanded low prices, factories competed for contracts, and speed became the main measure of success. What's especially bitter is that Triangle was considered a modern shop for its time, which shows how low the safety bar truly was. Prevention cost money, and in 1911, many businesses fought regulations that would have made them spend it. Warning signs were there, but they were tolerated. Scraps collected day after day, exits were treated as tools of control, and the idea of a high-rise factory outpacing fire equipment was accepted as normal. The city spent far more on fighting fires than on preventing them, and that imbalance mattered. The recipe for tragedy was simple: abundant fuel, fast-spreading fire, delayed warning, locked doors, weak escapes, and rescue tools that could not reach the problem. When you combine those conditions, a spark doesn't need much time. After the fire, the owners faced court, and the public demanded accountability. But the legal outcome felt small compared to the loss, and families received little compensation. What did change, slowly, and then all at once, were the rules. New York created a factory investigating commission that inspected workplaces and pushed stronger laws, and reformers like Francis Perkins helped turn outrage into practical requirements like unlocked exits and safer building standards. The point wasn't one factory, it was a system that had to be rebuilt. More than a century later, the building still stands, and the story still catches in the throat. Memorials now carry the names of the dead, a reminder that these were workers with families, plans, and unfinished lives. The Triangle Fire is remembered because it shows how quickly work can turn dangerous when safety is treated as optional. And it leaves us with a question that still matters today. If you could change just one thing in that factory, what would you change first?